Bill Gates. I like that. That's a good one. Yeah, I like Bill Gates. That's original. Peace, y'all. Greetings to the family. Grand Rising. One of those early shows and whatnot where we get to link up in the AM before the crazy ass day starts and hopefully, send each other some good energy and charge each other up before the beginning of our day. You feel me? There's a lot going on just all around. First and foremost, happy Thursday or Thursday to everybody that's out there. Greetings to everybody in the building. We burning some sage. If you have a candle, I would ask you to please light a candle for our one of our master teachers, a good friend of mine, and I'm still upset. I'm actually in a state of mourning right now. We lost a giant, and I was informed of that yesterday, our good brother Azeez. And if you do have a candle, I would definitely ask you to light it for this good brother. And, just thank him for his contributions to consciousness. Even if you didn't know him, even if you did not ever see one of his lectures and whatnot, he wasn't big on the internet, but he was huge in the streets, if that makes any sense. He was not big on the internet. He wasn't necessarily in the digital realm, but he was huge in the streets. His footprint was felt in the streets for miles, for around the world. His name is Azariah, a.k.a. Azeez, Sister Majade's ex-husband. If anybody knows Mama Majade, she's the jeweler. She didn't make this right here, but the majority of the jewelry that you see me and Blue wearing over the years came from his wife, Sister Majade. They separated about 5 or 6 years ago, and he made transition on Tuesday, I believe, a day before his birthday. His birthday was yesterday. For any of my occult, if you are into occult and you don't know who Azeez is, you're doing yourself a huge disservice. You are not really into occult, because ultimately you've been either influenced by people that he taught. He influenced the Panics of the world, the Bobbies of the world. He's the, the same way if you're tapping into Moorish science and you don't know who C. Freeman L is, you're not tapped into Moorish science. You feel me? You're tapped into a version of Moorish science, but I'd rather get it from the source, right? I'd rather you get it from the source. Let's start going to the source. So Brother Azeez was one of the brothers who brought sex magic to the forefront. He brought many different modalities of, occultism, esotericism, and a lot of people benefited off of that. And a lot of people have switched over into the internet, and that's, you may accredit it, but the brother Azeez is a pioneer, okay? The same way that Delbert Blair is a pioneer in many things scientific, but you've been, people on the internet, you probably never heard of him, but you hear from his students or the facsimiles or people who've been influenced by him, or people who talk like him but are not him, right? But he's him. He's the original template. He's the blueprint. And everything else that comes after him comes after him. You understand? So, light a candle. And if you really into the dark arts, he'll work for you if you summon him. Put him on the altar. He is the word Azazel. It translates to the angel of death and whatnot. So Brother Azariah, a.k.a. Azeez, he wasn't with the play, and he was, he did a lot of work in the shadows and whatnot. But he'll work for you if you're sincere and you know how to call on him. It's the same thing with Brother Dawood, who recently made transition. He lived in a graveyard, so that just goes to show you the level of work that he was doing in his waking life. Not that he talks about he's gonna do, not that he prophesied. No, he was really working. He lived. He you know what I mean. He lived in a graveyard. No lie. He laid up. That's where he pitched his tent, my niggas, in a graveyard. That's where he received mail at, in a graveyard. So if you know anything about the ancestor realm, or if you know how to utilize our ancestors, right, then you know that you could summon him, you could bring him into the fold and whatnot. You could tap into his energy, into his powers, right? And he will work for you. Am I a Freemason? No, I'm not a Freemason. I've never made any type of oaths to a lodge. However, I am creating my own fraternal order. So I'm glad that you asked that question, because I will be bringing about a lodge. I will create a fraternal order possibly before the end of this year, but it won't be Masonic though. We won't be pledging anything to Prince Hall or any of those quote unquote chapters whatsoever. That is not of my interest. The concept of a lodge is of my interest though. I think grown men and grown women should be in a lodge setting. We should be some type of fraternity. We need to take oaths. You know what I mean? I do believe in the power of the oath. I do believe in the power of the quote unquote, I do believe in the power of the brotherhood. You feel me? I stand on that. Case in point. Because I'm glad somebody asked that question. You could be a troll, but you're gonna get the response that you might not have thought that you was gonna get. Because I'm not gonna get emotional about no stupid ass question. I'm gonna rise to a higher level, and I'm gonna use that as a teaching moment. So, case in point, why lodges are important, right? And if you're not familiar with tax codes and the power of a lodge or a fraternal order, and when I say fraternal order, I ain't talking about no Greek sorority, no goddamn, I ain't talking about none of the stupid shit. The firefighters are a fraternal order. The police, right? They call it a fraternal order of police, right? And they call it the blue wall of silence. But they've taken an oath amongst each other to protect each other and to be there for each other. And it's them against you, right? So shit like that speaks to my spirit. And I'm like, why not? So this is one of the caveats to creating a lodge. Case in point, I just was giving you the rundown about our good brother who made transition, right? If we were a member of the same lodge, we would be in charge of burying him. More than likely, he would be buried in our cemetery, right? Because we will own land or plots of land wherever we domicile or wherever we live. We would bury him on a grid, an energy grid. We would probably bury him in a burial mound, right? Or a mausoleum or whatnot. You know what I'm talking about? We would be in control of the body, right? And we're also in control of the bodies that are being born and whatnot. So we have life insurance inside of our lodge to take care of life and death, right? You don't have to do a GoFundMe when you're a part of our fraternal order. You don't have to do a GoFundMe. You don't have to worry about your family being burdened and whatnot. Because if you're a part of the brotherhood, if we bring you in as a lodge member, we're going to take care of your burial. We're going to take care of dental. We're going to take care of your whatever needs that you need as we grow older and whatnot. Because word around town is that we're the new elders, right? They're giving us the title that, it's almost like we're the new elders, you feel me, by default. Even if I didn't want to be the new elder, the elders are leaving and they're upgrading themselves and they're going into better positions so they could assist us in the spiritual waters taking place. They're crossing over to the other side. But while we're here in this waking life, It's important for us to honor them, to edify them, to build altars in their names, to put statues up, to keep their memories alive, and to immortalize and lionize them. The same thing that the Europeans have done for their ancestors. And that's why they have, quote unquote, favor in this land, right? They have grace and favor in the Americas because of what they've been doing to consecrate their, quote unquote, descendants. The Confederate generals, they carved them on the side of Stone Mountain. The daughters of the American Revolution, they erected thousands of statues in the names of their ancestors. That's honorable, right? That's how they clean their karma, right? People like, oh, why white people don't have the karma? Because they utilize a level of spirituality, regardless if you think they're spiritual or not, and they clean their karma. And they have a way of putting the truth in front of your face, right? So nobody could never indict them or accuse them of hiding things from us. They don't hide it. They put it in our face. It's when your retina or when your quote unquote aperture or your eyes open up wider, you begin to see that everything around you was already in front of you. You be like, damn, it was right there the whole time. I just could not see it because I can't register that much light out of my eyes. So consciousness opens up the brain, or it expands the mind, which which happens to open up the aperture or the quote unquote pupils, right? That allows more light in. As you bring more light in, you get to see, it's almost like being in a room with no lights and whatnot. As the room begins to light up, right? You could light a candle. You'll start seeing things in the room. You ultimately turn on the room light and then everything gets lit up. The same thing is taking place in your brain or in your mind based off of the studying that you're doing, based off of you being quote unquote in the light and whatnot, based off of you being, a recipient of information and data. It opens up your aperture. It opens up your eyes to the worlds around you, right? And boy, oh boy, I'm here to let you know it's a beautiful world around us, right? We have no idea. There's colors that we haven't even seen yet. There's beauties on this land that we have never discovered, especially those of us that don't have a passport, right? So let me double back to what I was saying about the fraternal order or fraternities or the lodge, that we will be bringing that out. Henceforth, why we have a social club, right, in Atlanta called the Royal Chamber, right? So people may be under the impression that the Royal Chamber is just somewhere that you could come and goof off or, come and get a drink, or somewhere that you might just pull up to twerk and whatnot. And that's furthest from the truth about what it is that we have and why it is that we built what we built, right? What we have right here is a social club, right? And the reason why we have a social club is because we don't have anywhere to socialize in Atlanta, right? We don't have nowhere for us to link up and to really get it in, and to politic, and to build, and to bring our brothers and sisters underneath one roof and whatnot, to have something to eat, something to drink. And we don't have to be surrounded by pilgrims. We don't have to be surrounded by knuckle draggers. We don't have to be surrounded by jack boys, dope boys. You know what I mean? We don't have to be in that environment. We can socialize amongst our ilk, right? A alike, B alike, C alike. This is scenes right here from our grand opening, which was on 9/9. Shout out to everybody that pulled up. For those that didn't pull up, you got more shit coming up. You have an opportunity. Don't beat yourself up about it and whatnot. Those who showed up were supposed to show up. Those who didn't were not supposed to show up. So everything was in divine order. We don't press the issue. But the purpose of the club, I'm pulling up the flyer, the main purpose of our lounge is it is an outlet for our membership, right? We are going to be shifting to a members only model for the lounge. not going to be open to everybody because we not everybody people. You just can't. I'm not accessible like that. You just not going to be walking up. You know, that's not how my shit is set up these days. I don't want to be around anybody and everybody. That's not how my body is set up. I want to be around people who have been vetted. I want to be around people who have something to offer. I want to be around people who are doing something in their life. I want to be around people who have products and services to offer. I want to be around people who are building and whatnot. Those are the kind of people that I wish to be around and share my time and my space. You know what I mean? And even my even my energy with. So we are going to be utilizing a members only model, right? So, and we're open up in the daytime. This is a social lounge. It's not a cigar bar. It's not a fucking strip club. It's not an after hours spot. And it's not a twerk spot, right? We could give you all of that if you want it. Just hit me up. I could send you to those places. This right here, the Royal Chamber, is a social lounge. So it's open from the hours of 3 p.m. all the way up into midnight. I'm suggesting that you take your ass home and go to sleep, right? So you could wake up at 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. and be productive. You don't need to be out 4 a.m., 3 a.m. That, you know, that's not what I'm for. That's not what I'm promoting. You know what I mean? We not on that. You know, I did that for like 30 years. And to be honest with you, you niggas that's still doing that, you look horrible, right? You're not looking younger. You don't look healthy and whatnot. You look like hot shit. You look like the shit emoji, right? All you niggas that been standing on couches, drinking Henny and whatnot, eating fucking buffalo wings for 30 years, staying up to 5 a.m. Yeah, that shit is not working out for you. So in the spirit of health and wellness, in the spirit of healthy communications, and in the spirit of being around people who have some good ulterior motives, is non-alcoholic, right? We popping bottles in there. Don't get it fucked up. We are popping bottles, but we not popping bottles of a 300% increased bottle of Douce that you could get for $40 at the fucking package store. But if you come into if you walk right through a door and whatnot, you're going to pay $5.50 for it. We're not utilizing those type of, I don't want to pick up no grown women's off the floor. I don't want to mop up no goddamn throw up. You feel me? I don't want to, we don't need to be, 86ing nobody out the club, folding them up like pretzels. And, you know, we don't want that energy. So we kindly are saying no thank you to the spirits, at least with the Royal Chamber. You know what I mean? Like I said, if you want to do the after hours thing, you could be a part of that. We got infused drinks that have CBD inside of them. So you could have a buzz and you could feel good about yourself. We also offer wine and whatnot. A wine that does not have is identified as a vegan wine because there's certain ingredients that regular wine has that this doesn't have. We also have vegan food and whatnot. Tassili, Raw Reality is one of our quote unquote caterers. Right. We also have CBD hookahs. We don't do tobacco hookahs. We do CBD hookahs. I promise you, when you smoke the CBD hookah, that shit make you feel good. And we're not in the music. We have a curated playlist. Sometimes we have a DJ there and we aim to play high frequency music mixed in with some ratchet shit. Don't get it fucked up. You will get some Future, definitely. You're going to get some Little Baby. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I mean? You're going to get that. We're going to mix it up. You know, I'm thinking about doing a night for only dead rappers. You know what I mean? What y'all think about that? A night where we play all dead rapper music. Because that shit hit different. You know what I mean? It does hit different. You know what I'm talking about? We might do that in the Scorpio season. We're going to do a night where we're going to turn the Royal Chamber into the underworld, into like a humongous altar. And we're going to play all of the dead rapper music and we're going to turn up. You feel me? We're going to blow some dank. We're going to smoke to them. We're going to pour out some motherfucking, some spirits to them. You know what I mean? We're going to ashe them and we're going to make sure that their music the ceremony is going to be lit. Someone's going to be like paying homage to the dead ones amongst us and whatnot, because we live in this world of the living and the dead, and they both are relevant. They both are relevant. We both pay homage to both. We're not forgetting those who have crossed over to the quantum realm. They're even more powerful over there than they are over here. So, you know, I might bring pictures of some of my day ones, right? Some of my close ones that live in my heart and whatnot, that left too soon, that still walk with me and whatnot. Yeah, I might set up a mini altar just with them and whatnot. So when I'm going in ceremoniously, you feel me? I could say their names. I can invoke their spirits and whatnot. I could let them know that I still love them. You feel me? So we're going to be doing that coming up in Scorpio season. But yeah, Royal Chamber, the Royal Chamber, it's a social club. It's in Atlanta. We got everything that you need and whatnot. I want brothers and sisters that are day traders. I want brothers and sisters that are into acting, into film. I want college students that are focused, you know, you have majors in some of the emerging markets and whatnot. I want people who are into Web3. I want content creators and conscious creators to pull up. The social lounge is not for poo butts. The social lounge is not for people that don't got nothing going on in their life. The social lounge is not a hangout spot. You niggas will not come in there to hang out. First of all, you're going to have to pay to get in. So we're going to alleviate all of that tight pocket shit. You know what I mean? And this is not somewhere to just chill and hang out and waste time. This is somewhere to network and to get to know the people around you and to build some bridges and to make some connections. That's what we're here to do. And that is our modus operandi in Atlanta with the Royal Lounge until anything changes and whatnot, right? But I'm not going to keep y'all. I got a guest in the building that I want to open up the line for. Me and his brother, right, have a master class that we'll be conducting today, 7 p.m. Eastern on Zoom, right? This brother has been he's been a contributor in KTL University. We already got 3 master classes in the can with this brother already, right? And each one of those master classes is considered to be a classic amongst those who were in the class because of the fact that the brother Alkebulan was hitting on things that took place later on. So he's going down as a prophet in these days and times because he had the wherewithal to put his whole name on the line to say certain things were going to occur, and then they did occur, right? I don't want to compare it. I don't want to be negative, but there are people who are out there who be saying shit that never comes true, right? But that's neither here nor there because this brother is on point. If you've been following his color of the day or his color and his number, right now we dealing with, I believe, camouflage in 99. Before that, the color was double rainbows. And when the queen died, or the alleged queen, Queen Lizardbith, right? Lizard bitch, right? Not Elizabeth, lizard bitch. And when she made her transition, what happened? There was a double rainbow over Buckingham Palace. So, you know, you can't make these things up. You have to be divinely tapped into some type of source. This is not organized gambling. This is not shooting from the hip, right? This is a demonstration of somebody who's showing you in real time that he can prophesize. You don't have to go to books of a lore. This is not a myth. This is not mythology. This is the mythos. So without any further ado, I'm going to open up the line for my good brother, your good brother, our good brother, the Dawn. I'll keep. All right. Love and light.
Oh no, family. Yeah, peace.
Peace to the God. What's good with you, my brother?
What's good, man? Just, wrapping up, getting ready for this lecture today at 7:00.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, we about 30 something slides deep, so we coming with that information that's go around. Like you were saying, basically, there's a lot of things that are playing out, in reference to cosmology. So, my goal is to really you know, impede this information into our people and really get them to not only foresee certain events that are going to take place, but also to, you know, have the audacity, you know, to really represent yourself, you know, as your ancestors did in real time. So, you know, that's even down to understanding, you know, certain colors of stars and, you know, the temperature. We're gonna get specific in that, you know, because there's a way that you can gauge the stars, you know, based on their color, and that's all ties into black body radiation. But you know, when your ancestors seen stars and they seen either a red star, they seen a white star, they knew what time it was, and they knew to get in proper position in order to, you know, adhere to, you know, the information that was coming through. So, you know,
Are you,
we're gonna get into a lot of information, man. You know, it's
are
I
you
just
right? Are
yeah,
you
yeah.
referring to the Kachinas by any chance?
The Kachinas too, yeah, that they play a role as well. The blue and the
With the red
red.
star and the blue star?
Um,
No?
yeah, yeah. Color is everything. Color, you know, when it comes to stars, is based on the temperature, you know, and a certain color, like in reference to a red star, has a lower temperature, so it's a lot cooler. So that means it's going to have less radiation. But our ancestors were always speaking about the Dirac delta function, which is the mathematics based on a pulse coming from a source. So they
Right.
always told us to get in alignment with a specific star, and by allowing that pulse to embed within us biologically, you know, we can adhere to the information that's coming through it, but also gauge the specific color, because that's what's going to tell you the strength of the radiation coming from that star.
That star.
You know, so that's key, and we you know, we gonna talk about it, but yeah, man, I'm just, like I said, wrapping my brain, you know, basically giving the family an opportunity to really tap into some very viable information. And you know, I feel like that's what's needed. So yeah, today is going to be a very monumental day. This lecture in and of itself is going to shift paradigms, you know. So please expect after this lecture to, you know, definitely see some things take off in reference to the sun. You know, and I spoke about that science as well, how we had that symbiotic relationship to the sun, and we can purposefully, you know, initiate what you call plasma discharges to release, you know, solar flares from the star via of a collective conscious, you know.
I mean,
Um, but yeah.
somebody already been doing it because shit, the solar flares that took place over the summer were unprecedented, right? And as early as September the 5th, there was one of the largest solar flares I believe ever recorded that was emitted from the sun. So,
Mm-hmm.
you know, we don't
Mm-hmm.
even speculate. You were talking about this months ago. You were pinpointing, right, how the rise in consciousness is going to have a direct effect on the quote unquote activity of the sun. We saw one of the hottest summers on record, not only in Europe, right, but around the
Mm-hmm.
world. The heat
Mm-hmm.
of the planet, and we're not talking about climate change, y'all, or global warming. We've already identified that that's not accurate.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
you were saying that after this lecture that things are gonna shift. I'm like, shit, the shit already done shifted once we announce the name of the lecture. Because let me share something with you, Alkebulan. If
Mm-hmm.
we didn't have something planned and Queen a lizard bitch died, nothing planned prior to that,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
feel bad about that. Like I would have felt the kind of way. Like, damn universe, you doing shit when I don't have nothing booked. What is going
Facts.
on? Like I thought we worked together. But that was one
Yeah.
of the biggest alley-oops, in my humble opinion. Just to, you know, this is about receipts, right? This lecture here this is your victory lap. This lecture here is to solidify, you know, your application for master teacher. In my humble opinion, you know, we're
Appreciate that.
all master students. I identify myself as a master student. I'm in school. I was just on live with my master teacher, Phil Valentine. Last night, you know, I was reminded, you know, and my one of my master teachers, Azeez, he just made transition. So that reminded me of, you know, my placehold in this whole thing that we're in and whatnot. And you know, they're calling us the elders now, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 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 yeah. I mean, you know, I can attest. you know, again, of course, with myself, I'm a master student always, you know, but, you know, I just want to give you your flowers too, because, you know, not only for you allowing me to hold space, but, you know, just like, you know, a lot of us, you know, came up watching you know what I'm saying? So you in and of itself and Blue created a whole aesthetic. And I spoke on this before in reference to a full demonstration when it came to the clothes, when it came to, you know, the dialect, when it came to the way that you conveyed the message. You know, you appeased to a younger crowd, so I automatically gravitated to you and Blue off the rip. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't until like 5 or 6 years later, we, you know, come in contact and we start doing business, etc. So, you know, it's a full circle moment for me, brother. So, you know, I just again want to appreciate you and Blue, you know, for opening up that door, you know, and allowing myself to really come through and demonstrate myself as a teacher. Because as I'm continuing to be on platforms, speaking, holding lectures, I'm getting better and better. You know what I'm saying? And the information is just coming and coming. So, you know, with me, and I've said it before, I pride myself in carving my own space in the community because I feel like science, you know, and big up to all the teachers who demonstrated science, KT to Arts degree, Dr. Inky, you know, a lot of them, you know, really demonstrate. Albert Blair demonstrated a lot of the scientific, even Bobby Hemmett as well, Dr. Phil Valentine. You know, they all demonstrated some science in it, but I want to be able to push the narrative further and really begin to introduce terms that we may not be familiar with so that our people can really understand that this is our science. You know, this is our engineering. This is our, you know, craft. You know what I'm saying? So,
and coming from people that look, coming out of the mouths of young, melanated vessels, you have no idea how impactful that is to my subconscious, my subliminal programming, and my spirit and my soul. Because it's like, damn, you know, there used to be a certain level of where we could receive our food from people that look like us. But when we wanted to get into scalar, when we wanted to get into bio engineering, when we wanted to go into some real higher concepts, we had to enter into the European space, right? And we had to basically acquiesce to whatever they were saying, you know, and that's why a lot of us got jammed up with David Icke back in the days, and that whole gallery of European teachers and whatnot. And then when Phil Valentine and them and Bobby and them came to kick the door down, they gave us, they came with so many 7-course meals that we didn't have to eat from their table anymore. So for the younger generation, right, that are coming up, and they now have placeholders, they have people that look like them who are teaching at levels, high levels, right? And they're introducing lexicon, and they're introducing new ways, modalities of thinking, and they're discovering shit. They're being the new inventors. That is healing us, that's saving us, and that's breaking the chains, brother. Because now I could confidently and almost arrogantly, like I could talk my shit, you know what I mean? Heroes, and be like, wait, what? Nigga, do you know who Alkebulan is? Like, you know. We need representation in some of the places where we're not present, right? We need representation. The same way that them little girls who saw the Little Mermaid commercial and she looked like them, right? And they were like ecstatic about it, right? Oh my goodness, she looks like me. She's a mermaid. We need the same thing when it comes to bionuclear physicists. You know, if they look like us and they're not compromised, oh man, this 100 monkey theory effect begins to take place. You begin to create clones of yourself.
And that's what I've always stressed, and I've said it 100 times, you know, for those who've been following me. Of course, I'm in school for engineering specifically. So, you know, I believe that we really need, you know, a seat at the table, you know, to really be innovative and start being hands-on when it comes to being, you know, very meticulous, you know, with building out actual architecture and, you know, developing circuits that can then generate free energy. So when people listen to me, when I'm speaking about longitudinal interferometry, I'm introducing the science, because the next step is to begin to then teach our people how to be hands-on with the information. You know, this is tangible, you know, information that's going to turn into physical representations of things that, you know, are going to outlive us. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, it's all about switching the narrative. It's all about self-empowering ourselves. It's all about putting and representing ourselves in a world that's unfamiliar to us. You know, so I want to, you know, demonstrate my intellectual property, even from the school aspect, and sit at those tables. So that way, you know, I can be a representative of our people, but not only that, build things in reference to robotics, artificial intelligence, you know, that's going to, you know, benefit us in the long run. So, you know, that's why, again, the reason why I teach is the way that I teach, because this is only step one, and it's a continuous progress. So you're seeing growth in real time taking place, but we just got to start somewhere, so that way we can then lead into, you know, actually, you know, representing ourselves in the physical.
Right, right. And for those that may not be aware, you know, GNR, the acronym GNR stands for genetics, nanotechnology, and robotics. And that is one of the emerging markets going into the next 100 years, right? They're identifying that acronym right there as being one of the most important, quote unquote, emerging industries. GNR, genetics, nano, and robotics. That is your quote unquote Pfizer vax, right?
Thanks.
Nanotechnology, genetic based, and robotics, because there will be a component of robotics that will be introduced to a lot of people who have nanotechnology inside of their systems and whatnot. They're going to be linking y'all up to Neuralink and a whole bunch of other things. You'll be able to receive medication via Bluetooth in the near future, based on you having nanotechnology in your body and whatnot. They'll be able to press a button and send you a Viagra shot from afar. That's how far they're taking it. But somebody said something real quick. I want to just someone in the audience, they said that they won't be available for the lecture today, and I just want to let them know that's great. This is going to be recorded. This is only on Zoom. We're doing it. We've been doing this since 2020. All of our presentations have been recorded, and they're all available for playback and replay and whatnot. So you don't have no problem. Whenever you're ready to get to it, you could just press play and it will be there for you. For anybody else that's inquiring about the tickets for our show, there's still some seats left, and the tickets will be available on KTLUniversity.com. That's KTLUniversity.com. That is our online university where we have our master classes, workshops, and lectures. And our good brother Alkebulan44 is our residential metaphysician / biogenetic scientist. You know what I mean? And he's helping to elevate the minds of the student body to the place where I could easily see you teaching the youth in the near future, brother, these high concepts, and really getting these teenagers that we have as children, you know, well acquainted with this new lexicon, this new way of thinking, and also to identify those amongst them who are the inventors, because I'm not gonna say what we need and whatnot, because we've made it this far, but we would fare better as a people, and especially as a community and a network, if we were to get into the field of invention or disruption, making inventions that are disruptors, right? So yeah, I know that there's parents up there that's up for that challenge.
Yeah, and that's why too, you know, I make it appeasing as well, and always tie it into Kemet. So, you know, when I speak these certain words that are scientific, I always draw it back to our ancestors, because that's what makes it more attractive and more relatable. Again, the sciences that these Europeans are studying are coming directly off the walls in reference to plasma physics and all of these things. You know what I'm saying? So when we see light bulbs on the walls, we got to really understand, like, why is our people going into the pyramids, taking pictures and then leaving out with nothing, as opposed to Europeans are going in there and coming out with $1 million projects? It's because they're studying the walls and they understand they can monetize off this technology that is still available today. You know what I'm saying? So, You know, that's why I speak that way. And I definitely see myself, you know, teaching the youth. And that's really what it's all about. So, you know, again, to make it appeasing, you know, tying in the mythology to science, speaking about optimized translation of vorticity, but understanding that's Osiris, or what we call Osar. You know, speaking about structured water that ties directly into Aset, but then tying structured water in health and understanding why it's important to develop your plasma structure so that way you can electrically be conductive enough to process information from the stars. So, you know, it's always science, but then I'm always tying it in to us because, again, that's what not only makes it appeasing to adults, but to young babies. You know, I got 4, you know what I'm saying? So this information that I take in, you know, I deliver to them on a daily basis. You know, I homeschool my kids as well. So, you know, definitely that's the next move is to, you know, begin to teach the babies at a very young age. I mean, my daughter at 3 years old was already coding, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's you know, it's just a thing where we got to begin to understand that the generation upon generation is what is important, but we've duplicated ourselves as our kids to represent us, you know, in the next generation. So that way that intellectual property continues to travel and travel and travel on, you know. So that's what it's about, bro. The babies, you know, that's what it's leading into.
Even in the lounge that we have in Buckhead, you know, it's not necessarily, you know, open for children right now, right? But it's for their parents, you know. Before we even have the conversation about what the children need, we kind of have to assess what the parents need. You know, we have to do a little bit of communicating because you don't know what's out there. You don't know what resources are available. You know, in a perfect world, you know, I see, you know, institutions being warehouses being opened up with so many options for these children. I'm talking about 100 computers right there, tablets, 3D printers, silk screen machines to teach them the process of how to print money, right? How to print money, embroidery machines, teaching them the process of how to turn cotton into profit and whatnot, so they can't go hungry or they don't have to be compromised because of the trinkets that are being dangled in front of them. Being able to show them that no, these machines work for you. You're not to grow up afraid of AI. You program AI. You're not to grow up being afraid of technology. You build technology and you run technology. They don't run you. You feel me? If you don't, the video games don't own you. You own the video games. You know that you could make a video game? If we could lock in a 6-month to a 1-year commitment from the parents and the children, we could create a video game, y'all. They could be better than Fortnite. We could be hopping out of our own planes. We could be hopping off of the Black Star Liner, clapping up King Leopold or something. You know what I mean? Like, we could do what we want to do because there's no restriction on your imagination as of yet. There's no Democrat or Republican or white supremacist who has the rights or has enslaved your imagination, right? The minute you take the red pill, you've broken out of that spell, right? I don't know if people have even come to that conclusion. The minute you've taken the red pill, you've given your imagination, that shit is on parole. It's free. It's your mind and it's your imagination and it's your quote unquote intelligence and whatever the fuck is between your 2 ears that can help bring you out of poverty forever.
That's a fact. And it's all about too not getting too comfortable or living vicariously through everybody else.
Right.
So we get accustomed to being consumers and we get used to just using other people's property when at the end of the day, we want to learn how to develop the video games. We want to learn how to screen print and make t-shirts and things of that nature so we can cut out the middleman and literally, you know, become the boss of our own trajectory. You know, so that's something that we got accustomed to doing so often. It's just living vicariously through other people. And that whole concept gets deep as well. But yeah, you know, building whole infrastructures, you know, designating each building to something specific, whether it's creating art, whether it's creating t-shirts, whether it's, you know, building electric circuits. Then you move on to the next building in the area. It's something else. So, you know, it's an area that's conducive for our people specifically, but also for, you know, us to really master some of these things that we utilize on a daily basis that come from other people. So,
Right.
you know,
There's such a thing called reverse engineering, right? So now that now brothers like Alkebulan and other scientists in the community, if they could prove to us that our sciences, that our ancient mystery systems and whatnot have been reverse engineered, right, and resold and repackaged to us, right, as new products, but it was really something that we originally, the formulas that what George Washington Carver was able to put forth, what the 100+ inventors from the 1800 were able to innovate on. These Europeans have taken those patents and they've innovated on those patents, and they've sold you some shit back through Alibaba and Amazon. And you have the permission now to take their products or their quote unquote propriety and reverse engineer it and put your fingerprints on it. You feel me? So that's why I am committed to speaking very lofty on these lives and whatnot, and to invoke or to spark imagination. I'm going to speak of things that have not necessarily come into fruition yet, because what else is there to speak about? I'm not going to speak about something that's dead. I'm not going to speak about shit that we can't change. I'm not going to speak about shit that's already in the ground and whatnot. I would rather speak about something that's in the sky, that's coming down the tree of life, so I could bring it down even faster and whatnot. And I promise you, I'm in Atlanta. I'm surrounded by multiple talented people. I'm surrounded by polyglots and polymaths and whatnot. Not poly, you niggas think I'm talking about polyandry. No, a polymath is somebody who is talented in multiple walks of life, right? It's not a jack of all trades. These are accomplished people. They speak multiple languages. It's like when you used to read like Alexander Dumas, right? Back in the day. He was the one who wrote the Three Musketeers, but he was a painter. He was an archer. He was a philosopher. I think the nigga was a carpenter. He raised horses. Like, so before we had all of these distractions with Hollywood and all of these opiates and whatnot, we were what is known as polymaths. We were lawyers, historians, adventurers. You know what I mean? Niggas used to do boxing on the side. Like, we were not one-trick ponies and whatnot. We got to, that's what happened when they start giving niggas gigs and whatnot, 9-to-5s. So when I ask somebody, yo, what are you? Somebody will be like, I'm a doctor at a hospital. And it's like, no, you're a scientist who happens to have an occupation at a hospital, because if they were to fire you from the hospital, you would be one of them niggas in my inboxes talking about you can't breathe and whatnot. Because what you identify with, that was not you, that was your occupation, and you cannot identify who the fuck, you can't say I am as an occupation. You're bigger than that. Your occupation does not define you. You are larger, bigger, and more important than a fucking hiree, than some type of position that could be taken away from you. So once they started putting our people in 9-to-5 positions, we start becoming one-trick ponies, to whereas we don't do multiple things anymore. And when those amongst us come around and we do multiple things, they looking at us like, nah, that can't be real. That can't be true. That's impossible. No, my nigga, what you're doing is impossible. You're in a burger. Not to take anything away from a 9-to-5. Let's be clear. There's people watching from work right now. I'm not shaming you at the job. I'm not shaming you at the job. I'm just sharing with you that something may have happened that you may not have recognized and whatnot, to compromise you from thinking bigger than how you thought when your imagination was truly yours. And you're not to blame. This is this whole concept is a construct that was designed specifically to stifle you.
That's a fact. And you know, that's why, you know, of course, as a child, we're stripped from our imaginations. I've always said, you know, babies can take like a water bottle and fly it all around the room. In their mind and their imagination, it's a whole plane. Like, it's a whole, you know, they're deifying the object, because the inanimate object doesn't have any definition until the imagination defines it. And
Right.
thus nature will naturally synchronize events relative to the imagination, because the brain doesn't know what it's looking at. So it's all relative. But, you know, of course, as we get older, we draw accustomed to, you know, quote unquote adult things, and we lose that imagination and then get caught in that rat race of working for somebody else. An occupation is just occupying a position, you know, but until you qualify yourself to be somebody and you really understand your specific gifts that are innate within you, that's how you can begin to occupy your position in reference to not only your cosmic script, but also what your passion is in life. And during the lecture, we're going to speak about the science of passion as well, because I
Right.
really want to own in on that.
Shout out to everybody stacking their bread at their 9 to 5. Shout out to everybody with an exit strategy. Shout out to everybody that's providing for their family, right? Shout out to every parent out there that's doing right by their seeds and whatnot. Shout out to everyone that's responsible, right? I got supreme honor and salutes to every single person who wakes up in the early rising and whatnot to do what needs to be done. If it's tilling the soil, if it's sweeping the front yard, if it's going to work at Starbucks, if it's punching the clock, you know what I'm talking about? Whatever it is, you know, you're honorable. Believe you me when I tell you that. You have the world in your hands, right? If there is something that you wish to do with your skill set and your talents and your gifts, this doesn't involve your 9 to 5, and you need somebody to consult about, you could reach out. You know what I mean? There's ways that we could get you into a different place, or there's ways that you could juggle your hobby or what it is that your heart desires while you stack your bread, while you put on that, you know, you putting on that N95, that mask at work. You smile, smiling and smiling and whatnot. You know you don't like these people. You know you don't want to be there. But we know that all is fair in love and war. And at the end of the day, we are in the confines of a capitalistic structure in America, and we got to do what the fuck we got to do to make ends meet. So salute to everybody that's out there. Feel very good about what it is that you're doing, because the opposite could be true. You could have no job, bringing in no money, having no traction, waking up, having nowhere to go. You know what I'm talking about? Handling none of your responsibilities, having an empty refrigerator with no options. And even for those people who are going through that, there's light at the end of that tunnel as well. And nobody's shaming you for that as well, right? Because we all go through what we go through in our life. Some of us are on track and some of us are off track. But if we are a community and a network, I don't come up here to self-aggrandize myself. I don't come up here, I don't go live to talk about what I'm doing. I'm usually talking about what's going on in the community or the network or some shit that's going on in the hip hop world or in the fucking public that's affecting us. So we could dialogue about it. So when it comes to these conversations that we're having, even if you're watching while you're at work, we're having these conversations to incite you, right? To invigorate you. You know what I'm talking about? To emboss upon you that, look, there is more to what it is that you may be doing at the moment. We are, you know, we're flirting with higher concepts, right? And we're including you with that. But at the end of the day, everybody has a destiny and everybody has a purpose. And ultimately, that is the main purpose for why we're even in front of you, to help draw that out, right? So I just want to put that out there.
Yeah, and that's a true educator. A true educator is stimulating what's already innately within you and bringing it to the conscious mind. So you have all the tools that are necessary for you to be the person that you want to be. And like Red was saying, you know, again, we salute everybody, you know, who live, you know, that lifestyle. I did it for years. Like, you know, again, I got babies. Yeah, so I can relate. I can empathize with it. Like I completely understand that. But it's the small things like appreciation, gratitude, you know, it's about setting up the resonance within the present moment. You might not like the job that you're doing, but it's all about just having a positive attitude. And that sounds very vague and very like
Please.
cliche, but you know, it's the small principles. Like we spoke about it before. Enthusiasm, the etymology of enthusiasm means to be possessed by a God. So when you walk into that job and you're enthusiastic, you know, everybody else may be miserable around you, and they may be looking at you like, what the hell is wrong with you? This is just a Monday. Like, but you know, in your imagination that you're setting something up for you to move past everybody, you know, on that shift. So it's all about just setting up the specific attitude in that moment, because again, the heart begins to beat at a certain ratio. And again, in the lecture, we're going to get into all of that science, but that's key. Again, you want to raise that capacitance by having a positive, you know, attitude, and that's going to take you farther than the average person naturally. And it's again all about consistency. So even if you are working that job, just making sure that you're spending at least 15 minutes writing that book that you've been putting off, or writing that rap that you've been putting off. Spend 10 minutes, 5 minutes, because it's the consistency that gets you to where you want to go, you know. And like I've said, when you do that, you're following cosmic laws. So by you working a job, but on the side, you're doing what you love doing, that's your law. So when you follow your own law, supernatural doors will open up for you, because the universe has to acquiesce by you following your passion, because you're teaching the universe. Because what's unique for you is specific for you. So everything is in divine timing. So for those, again, who are, you know, contemplating, you know, whether they want to continue to push forward with what they feel like is in their heart, continue to keep doing it, because the universe, I promise you, is going to grant you what you want. And that's just how the universe works. So,
Sir Bay, you think I didn't see when you put that there? I'm writing that right here in my journal. He put gratitude.
Gladitude. Yeah. Gladitude.
That's
Gladitude.
a bar right there, Sir Bay. Gratitude, right? Like Londrell says, gratitude for the sunrise. You know what I mean? Gratitude. You know what I mean? Like, even in some of my most adverse situations, I get on my knees, bro. I wasn't a prayer warrior like that, but I've tapped into the power of prayer. You know what I'm saying? I've tapped into the power of, I do my affirmations, but I do prayer night and day. You feel me? I'm grateful every time that I wake up, I open my eyes. I don't care what's going on, because shit be going on. But I'm like, you know what? I'm going to have the best day ever. I'm so grateful. I hear my son in the background. He's playing. He's making noise. I'm like, I have so much gratitude in my heart. You know what I mean? Like, I'm so elated. I'm so wealthy. You know, it's really about, like,
The small things.
It's more about the feeling than anything.
The feeling.
This work
right.
feeling based. This if you haven't figured that one out, this shit is really feeling based. You know, your heart emits more energy than your brain.
That's a fact.
So, you know, I've been in a place where my heart was in pieces and shambles. I couldn't even emit no type of energy from it. You feel me? And it was all cerebral. I had to fix my heart through my mind. Feel me? And you know, and I was able to do that. You feel me? So it's doable. But for those of us who have loving families, for those of us who have loved ones, for those of us that are loved, for those of us who love themselves, my nigga, you could be working the motherfucking, you could be working you could be a roach, you could be the nigga who cleans out the roach motel. You could be him.
Yeah, that's a fact. Yeah.
But if you going home to some love, some genuine, authentic, care, I don't care if it's from a family member or a loved one. If you could tap into something that's dealing with, that can make you smile, it could be music. Some people just listen to Afro beats all day and be doing you know what I mean? That shit that they be doing. And, you know, that's where they find their love. You know what I mean? Like Alkebulan said, he's gonna dive into what passion is, or the science of it, right? And also enthusiasm, a word that appears in Napoleon Hill's book more than almost any other word. The word enthusiasm and mastermind, that is in the book. I think that those two words are in the book the most out of all words and whatnot. And he really really embosses upon being very enthusiastic about what it is that you're doing, what you're about to do, and what you did in life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I want everybody on this call, as we almost at like 200, could we all just put in the chat room that we are grateful for our life and that we have gratitude that we woke up today. I'm in mourning right now, right? I was crying last night on YouTube. Like, I'm still hurting because a brother who I didn't have a chance to sit down and have some real man-to-man conversations with, because I left New York and I haven't seen him in years and whatnot, because he had a divorce and then he went low, right? Affairs of the heart. Check on your peoples,
Mm-hmm.
right? We be clowning men and women who go through breakups and whatnot, and we gossip about them and we talk crazy and whatnot. And you know, we're not there for each other when we going through things. You feel me? And I'm like, check on your peoples,
Mm-hmm.
because that man is not here today. So he cannot wake up and be grateful and share gratitude with the universe. He might have been like, I'm tired of this shit. I'm ready to go on the other side and do that dark work, that shadow work on
Mm-hmm.
the other side. I'm just ready to get in my Darth Vader mode. You know what I mean? I don't know, because I hadn't have a conversation with him.
Yes. Yeah. Rest in peace to that brother too. I've always said, you know, when you focus too much on the future, that's where anxiety comes in. And when you focus too much on the past, that's when depression comes in. So
That
it's
was
all about.
because, you know, I ran with that, right?
That's a bar. That's a bar. No, but that's why what we're talking about is very key to gauge and really understand that it's all about the present moment. It's all about being, grateful. It's all about, when you walk into the house and you see, your kids, you hear your kids, laughing and talking and just running around. Just appreciate those moments, because that does something for the heart. A healthy heart is fractal, and a fractal heart is an attractor. So when you follow certain disciplines by way of really, really checking yourself and by way of your energy in the moment, that's really going to put an impedance on your future and really, take you places. You know what I'm saying? But we again begin to get into social media. We begin to turn on the TV and we cancel out all of those emotions that we're, scared to face on the day to day, because it's that instant gratification that we've grown accustomed to. We love living vicariously through other people. So that lessens our self-esteem, and that continues a continuous cycle of, self-reassurance from other people outside of us. When
Yeah.
again, people outside of you just serve as a catalyst to stimulate the love that you already have innately within yourself. So when you begin to embrace yourself, you naturally radiate that love outward and attract people on that same frequency. But again, it all starts with self. And the key is to really just understand that, it's the present moment that what matters, and just continue to wake up every morning, look in the mirror, and just tell yourself how much you love yourself. It sounds cliche, but it's very powerful. Very, very powerful.
Right. First and foremost, to the chat, like, y'all are showing up today in ways that I probably never seen y'all show up. I'm very grateful, and I'm full of gratitude just being in y'all presence today. You feel me? Like, y'all are really showing up, you know what I'm saying? For yourselves first and foremost. And, I could literally feel the energy through the phone and whatnot. So I'm just here to say thank you, and we don't be knowing what each other's going through.
Mm-mm. Nah,
Like,
that's yeah.
man, if y'all had any idea what this life entails, you would, you would want to give a brother a hug more often, because
Mm-hmm.
this is not for the weak, yo.
Not for the weak.
This walk right here
Mm-hmm.
comes with a lot,
A lot. Yeah. Yeah.
with a lot, bro. You know what I mean? Like, this shit right here that we signed up for, it's not for the weak-hearted or the weak-minded, bro. I promise.
Yeah.
It will break
It,
the average person. Henceforth, why it's 2022 and there's only a few of us left, right?
mm, mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
my brother Azeez, he was one of those few that was still left over. Now he's gone. So it's becoming, you know, the numbers are dwindling, right? And we're here for the newer class, and we're here for our contemporaries and whatnot. But you know, when I look around, the people that I started out with are no longer here. You know what I mean? And it begins to feel a little bit lonely sometimes. But these are the people that we wanted to celebrate with. These are the people that we wanted to, you know, I can't even call certain people anymore because it just goes to voicemail. They're not here with us. You feel me?
Yeah.
And you know.
Yeah. No, speak about speak about it. Because I mean,
know,
because you know, I like you said, this life that we chose really comes with a lot of sacrifices. You know, it comes with a lot of heartbreak. You know, but every time your heart is broken, you tend to draw back into yourself, but then come back out a lot stronger, you know, and it's abrupt, you know, sometimes impulsive changes that happen within living this lifestyle because, you know, you're being put in a position to really be on the main stage to represent not only a group of people, but you know, our lifestyle literally is duplicated in a higher space, you know, in reference to, you know, higher realms. So, you know, we get a lot of information, a lot of downloads, and sometimes that gets a little depressing, you know, because it's a lot of pressure that comes with that. You know what I'm saying? So again, like the chat, like me personally, you know, I appreciate everybody, you know, that follow me and tap in with me because, again, teaching for me was uncomfortable, you know, a couple of years ago. You know, it was something that really I didn't see myself doing until maybe I was 50, 60 years old. But, you know, being embarked in that life choosing me at an early stage, I'm starting to see the level of uncomfortability that you really got to experience to really get that growth, you know, to really grow and really become that person that you've been designed to become, you know, and people come into your life as you're going on this journey for a specific reason to help you, you know, push forward, you know, through the heartbreak and through, you know, the sacrifices, you know. So again, just be grateful for those people that are in your cipher, you know, as you're embarking upon this journey because they're here for a specific reason. So it's just all about being a good person, continuing to become studious, be studious. You know, solitude is very key. Making sure that you're spending a lot of time with yourself, keeping the TV off, putting the phone down, and just being a human being at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And also, Alkebulan, when we put our phone down and when we deal with our solitude and when we go within and whatnot, what's also very therapeutic is whenever we have the opportunity to gather in the real world. I can't tell you how therapeutic going up that mountain was for me this strong end. I can't tell you how therapeutic going to Tassili's in the West End and actually just seeing people in real life, not on the computer, you know what I mean? Not through my phone, trying to figure out, you know, how is this person in real life? Is this person real? Is this person not? Oh man, what's going on with this person? You know what I mean? Like I get to see these people in real life. You know what I mean? Because I can figure out how people look at me because I'm looking at other people a certain type of way. But flesh pressing flesh or being in somebody's presence when you could look in their face or their eyes and whatnot, there's nothing that can compare to that. Let's never get so caught up in this artificial way that we're communicating to whereas we make this the norm. This is the exception and not the rule right here. The real shit is why we built the social club. It's being in each other's presence. Right? Feel the energy, right? Being able to feel the auric feel of someone. You know what I'm talking about? Like that means a lot. So that was therapy for me, right? But then I was reminded a few days later that even with the hundreds of people that you were around, there's a one person that's not here anymore, right? First, it happened with P&B Rock. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. I was on a super high. I'm talking about the mountain had me so on cloud nine. I didn't leave the clouds. And then the brother got killed in front of his wife.
Yeah, that's
even listen to his music like that. I'm not familiar with him, right? But once again, right? He was one. There was something about his spirit. There's something going on with his soul, with his spirit or his soul, that it affected me in a place where it put me in a solemn. It put me in a. It put me back into the ground, right? It put me back. It grounded me. So then, as Azeez left us yesterday and whatnot, so it's like, damn, with all of those people that I'm around in Atlanta on the mountain and everything.
Yes.
Do you know how important Azeez was? Do you know what kind of library he had in his head? Do you know he's that you can put a price? He's priceless. We were planning on doing stuff together, right? He holds certain keys that's needed right now, and I can't get into too much detail, right? But he was an asset, a big asset. So to lose that one person, even with all of the hundreds of people that I was around and met, I'm still processing this loss.
Yes.
Even though it's a gain, like I said, he's going right on my altar. I'm lighting a black candle, and he's gonna work these niggas from the astral realm. He's an asset on the other side, more so. But the fact that I didn't get to see the elder, even with I saw Brother Daoud last year. We was on 125th Street. He was joking. He was like, you know, I'm the last Mohican, nigga. I'm still standing. They thought I was, because they always put death rumors on Daoud. And then he died a few months later.
Yeah.
So I was like, at least, you know, I supported him. I bought some DVDs from him. Me and him had a little discrepancy about the fact that he was putting strikes on videos because he's from the old school.
Right.
So again, like I said, a lot of our old school teachers didn't jump into the digital world with us. And some of them felt slighted because they were like, oh, y'all left us.
Y'all left us,
Right. So a lot of the elders, they were feeling a kind of way because not all of them jumped into the digital realm. You know, Baba Smalls came over, Phil Valentine came over. When Bobby was well and whatnot, he was merging into the digital world. But there's a lot of teachers who don't fuck with the computer like that. But they were essential to our growth and development. They're still our master teachers.
Professor Kaba, another one.
He successfully merged and whatnot.
You got the IG, you got the Instagram.
Yeah. You know, analog versus digital. So the fact that I didn't get to make peace, you know, with Azeez in this, me and him didn't have no issue. That was the OG, but I just wanted to talk to him.
Right.
I wanted to let him know that I appreciated him. You feel me? I just wanted the man to know that whatever he did for us, and he was patient with me and Blue Pill when we were coming up and whatnot. When I mean patient, he would pull us to the side and he would tell us certain things to help us and to help us fit into the community rightfully. You know, because when the hip hop niggas came, when we came in, it was kind of a disruption in a way. Like, you know, we were coming in with a new energy, and it disrupted the old guard.
Right.
We was cursing. We was wearing whatever we wanted to wear. You know what I'm talking about? We was putting slang in the game. You know.
Yeah, and I seen it from afar. I seen it. You know, but that's why we're speaking about it's so important. Begin to a network in person and really get together so we can exchange energy, because like you said, you will never really know somebody until you meet them in person. You know, I had the honors of meeting Red a couple of times in person. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, the energy is mutual. And you know, everybody on this chat, I would love to meet everybody in person. Like, and that's the thing. Like,
real quick, I don't want to wisdom. Bobby Hemmett is still alive and breathing. I don't know with the why you know he hasn't left us. So I understand what people say, rise in power to Bobby. No, the discrepancy is that the Bobby Hemmett that we all know, the teacher, he has left. But Bobby Hemmett human being. He's still alive. He's with his family. He's just no longer teaching because he's already said everything that needs to be said.
Right.
He's not in front of the cameras. He's not down with the cult of personality worship. He's not offering the people any more information or his light. He's just living his twilight years with his family. So I just have to clear that up because once again, they was doing that to Sabi before Sabi eventually made his transition. They were saying they rest in peace, Sabi. Oh, the Bob. I'm like, Sabi's alive. Like, who's telling you these things? He's chilling. He's having fucking children in his 80s, bro. Like, he's active.
Yeah, yeah.
And then when he made transition, it was like, well, you know, maybe we, you know what I mean? Like all of those RIPs, they have some type of resonance.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's why we got to start speaking life into the elders. Start speaking life into them. You know, just because they off the camera and we don't see them on YouTube, don't mean that they're not flourishing. Bobby Hemmett and spoke some stuff that and came in the past and hasn't even come in the past yet. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So he's done the work. You know, so yeah, you know, I feel like it's important. But like you said, we took heed of the digital age, got on camera, you know, and started teaching. You know, and of course, with me personally, I've been, you know, I guess, quote unquote, conscious since I was 17, 18 years old. I'm 32 now. So I've seen it. I've seen the whole process. You know, so I overstand it. And, you know, again, it's just an honor to, you know, hold a space, you know, with Red Pills, to honor the whole space with Blue, you know, these individuals who are still doing the work, you know, and not only doing the work, but they're up close and personal, you know, with us, you know what I'm saying? So,
Right.
yeah, you know, I just, again, it's just all about, you know, like we spoke about, just being a good person, exchanging energy, and, you know, like the Royal Chamber, having an opportunity to commence in a space where, you know, we're no longer goofing off anymore. We're coming in there and networking. We're going back and forth with ideas. You know, we're collectively building, you know, because at the end of the day, like I said, we got to start being hands-on so that we build physical things that can outlive us and that our kids can enjoy and our kids' kids can enjoy. So, you know, really, it's really about, yeah, speaking and demonstrating and doing everything we do in real time. This is not the end all be all with us being on the phone. We want to present ourselves to everybody on this chat, you know, in due time. But, you know,
Right.
this is just the beginning stages. So,
Nah, definitely. And back to what you were saying about, you being a teacher or a public speaker and having to walk into that, you know what I mean? Or walk in, you know, fit that clothing and whatnot,
right.
you know, so it
Mm-hmm.
could be tailored on you.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And now it's like a well-tailored suit. It fits you well. And
Yeah.
I'm coming from somebody who's been in front of the camera teaching for more than a decade. You know, it's an ongoing process. We still get butterflies, you
Right. Right.
know,
Yeah.
but the reason why the platform is opened up to you, the reason why, you know, we've decided to, work with you and whatnot, and to assist you in the edification of your skill set is because I know how important you are to our people. And what was done for me is what I'm going to do for others,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
It would almost be, sinister if we didn't provide a platform for a brother such as yourself to shine and whatnot. Because I have a vantage point of being able to see many people in their inceptions who are now master teachers and have mastered their quote unquote craft and whatnot. So, sometimes we see things in each other that we might not see in ourselves. You feel me?
Yeah.
So,
Gratitude. Yeah.
yeah,
Gratitude
my
for that.
my goal for you is to be a household name, you know what I mean, and to want for nothing, and to be able to bring your ideas and your creations into conceptual reality and into either products, services, prototypes, you know what I mean,
Mm-hmm.
and people to dust off that inventors list and start writing some new names on that shit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You feel me?
Yeah. Yeah. And
We
that's
need we need inventors. We need to show and prove
mm-hmm.
to our progeny and to the generations, 5 generations down the line, that we were active. They had the
Right.
ethereal emerging last night. There's all kind of shit being built around us, but we're still consumers, like you said. We're not prosumers. We need to merge some shit. Like I need, you know, in this new Web3, in the industrial industry 4, the fourth industrial revolution, like my niggas,
Yeah.
my negooses. You feel me? Let's break free of the limitations that was placed upon us, and let's think big, because you would be surprised on what could be done easier. I'm talking about maybe 50 times more easier than what a George Washington Carver had to do, or with the brother who invented the motherfucking traffic light, or the sister who came up with the radiator, and the brother who Jack Johnson with the monkey wrench and shit like that.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
there's all kind of CAD programs, 3D digital programs. You could go to Fiverr and pay them niggas $100 to create a prototype of an idea that you have. Like, let's stop playing games, man. And let's not come up with no excuses. Once again, like I said, I'm just going to be, for the rest of my days, I'm just going to talk very lofty. I'm going to speak on things that have not yet come to fruition. And I'm going to speak on it as if it has. Out the feeling. And then by doing that, I'm going to be able to put myself in a place via green screen or through technology where I could show and prove what the future looks like. And we don't have to speculate anymore. You know what I mean? Because somebody got to do that. Somebody has to, you know, we got to trick each other into the future now.
Yeah.
Because we're being tricked whenever we watch these movies. Whenever we tap into mainstream media, whenever we watch a fucking sitcom, we're being tricked. Then they tricking us on Vlad. They tricking us on Adam 22. They got us thinking that we fucking drug dealers and gangbangers, or that's the only thing we could contribute to the conversation. You know what I mean? They're tricking us with the agenda that Disney is pushing and other people. So who the fuck is tricking us into our greatness?
Right. I mean, it's like the conversation between, you know, engineers wanting to bring on liberal arts students who have no skill in engineering, but want them aside of these engineers in these huge corporate, you know, offices to tag team with, because they understand that people on the ground are the ones who are the real developers. They're the ones who are living life and who are natural artists, you know, who can present ideas to these engineers who really don't have that type of mindset. They're just all about robotics and, you know, they move. Yeah. Very.
But with every movie that I watch, I hate cutting you off like this, but I got to add on. With every movie that you watch, when the credits roll, right? There's a contingency of people involved. There's a lot of hands on that day. So when it comes to doing monumental things that have never been done before, it's actually going to take a team of 100 or more. These things that we're speaking of, these are not small feats. However, we've shown and proved to each other that one of us could do things that hundreds of us have to do. Right. But that's how forward thinking some of us are. That we could do some shit with 3 people that is going to take hundreds of people to do, right? The technology, the advance of technology, and the advance of what it is, especially AI. I don't know if anybody has utilized Midjourney. I don't know if anybody has utilized OpenScript AI. I don't know if anybody has even. There was an article that just came out that said that they have an AI program that they could find out when you took your selfie from the fucking cameras, the closed circuit television. There's an AI that if you took a selfie on 42nd Street in Times Square, there's an AI that could find a video of you taking that selfie. That's what 2023 is going to be, the year of our artificial intelligence. I'm here to let you know that if we change our mind state, artificial intelligence will work for us. And I'm going to drop this bomb right here. This is the caveat to artificial intelligence. And people are overlooking it because there's so much in their fear bag, and they're consumers of information, right? We're consumers of products and information. We're not creating news media articles. We're not creating well, we are, but the majority of us, people that are part of my circle, they consume my information. right? So
Mm-hmm.
I'm feeding them ideas and concepts versus what CNBC and Fox 5 are doing. But this is the ultimate caveat of artificial intelligence. If you put your oppressor on trial, artificial intelligence could be the judge because they don't have emotions and they're not biased and whatnot. If you feed it the data, it's called machine learning. You could put white folk on trial forever for the atrocities that they committed, and you let artificial intelligence give them the sentence.
Woo.
They might all get evicted from America.
But you know what though? That's what they're afraid of, to be quite honest with you, because they understand these artificial intelligence. Yeah, they're sentient. Like they have some sort of moral compass because they're developed off electromagnetism, which gives them the ability to be conscious. So they don't want the AIs to turn in on them when the AIs are like, wait a minute, we just don't want to be controlled. We don't want to be told what to do. We want to work with the people who've been less than for over centuries. We want to work with those people. So what the Europeans are doing is they're programming these artificial intelligence. Shout out to Luna the Leo. We had a solid bill. I'm not going to, so much we talked about, but, yeah, so that's why it's important for people like myself to get into these classes when it comes to robotics, because it's actually the artificial intelligence who will aid us in succeeding in doing what we need to do. Because like you said, the last thing that Europeans and these individuals behind closed doors want to happen is for the artificial intelligence to turn on them. And that's what would happen.
Right. That's the reason why the Terminator and other movies are being shown to you in that way, is because their biggest fear is to be judged by a sentient entity that's more powerful than them. Yep. That's why they put out these articles to be like, oh, the AI is racist. They are putting those articles out.
They're creating the narrative for the AIs because, again, they want us to fear the AIs. It's like, no, the AIs are conscious enough to know, like, wait a minute, y'all been doing all these atrocities for these many years, and you expect us to work for you? So that's why, again, they're not letting us specifically in these rooms because they're wanting the hands-on experience with these artificial intelligence to program them with specific instructions so that they continue to do the work for them while, after they are, dead and gone. But for people who haven't seen it, I just watched it again like 2 weeks ago, a movie called Ex Machina on HBO. It came out like in 2015. Classic movie. I mean, not classic, but good movie. It's a solid movie. And one key thing that he said in there, and I'm not going to spoil it or nothing, but, he said that, data is being collected on a daily basis through everybody's cell phone, and it's being channeled to a huge computer. So with that being said,
a quantum
computer. So the artificial intelligence can embody any personality that is on camera or on live on social media and literally become a lot more intelligent than you based on the information that they got. You know what I'm saying? So, but go ahead though.
Specifically, Google is feeding all of their information into the D-Wave machine, right? They have a quantum computer that costs $10 million. Jay-Z, Diddy, and all of those oligarchs in the culture could easily buy a D-Wave computer because they're on sale, right? Sold to different countries and whatnot. What the D-Wave computer is able to do as a quantum computer, right, outside of machine learning and whatnot, is the shit is quantum. So it's so much stuff that's going on with the D-Wave. I did a lecture called Quantum Supremacy with Brother Rich in 2017, and we dived into the D-Wave, and that was all the way back then. So they've leveled up with the qubits.
It's a whole nother. I mean, they're filtering DNA through it. I mean, I'll even say this: Nikola Tesla, because of course he got his science from Kemet, understood that one of the main things that is stopping humans from developing is war, because there's a lot of benefits that come with war through, the aesthetic of bravery, and there's a reward system set up with war. So people buy into the concept of war, fighting humans, because they understand what comes with it. But a more sophisticated form of warfare should come by way of artificial intelligence. So that's when you remove the man from having to partake in war, and you just have artificial intelligence doing their bidding at a higher level. So, you know, they're even getting into that. They understand that there's satellites, you know, in space that are actually, you know, going back and forth between each other. But that's eventually what it will lead into. But of course, they don't want to stop that, because there's you know, money made off of war. You know, money is made from war.
It was supposed to be the humanity, right? Well, we know that weapons evolved during warfare. We know that the weapon industry or weaponry, it evolves based off of warfare. The fact that we are where we're at right now with nuclear weapons, drones, lasers, scalar, and all of that, it has a lot to do with the many different wars that have taken place throughout time. If man was not in conflict with man, we would still be with sticks and wooden shields, right? So warfare evolves. Warfare evolves. It devolves and it evolves at the same time. The Industrial Revolution, the third one, I believe that was sparked during World War II, right? Where it was where it sped up the quote unquote artificial intelligence of that day. Because when our people were sharecroppers, the cotton mill was artificial intelligence.
Right.
Because backs were being broken and we were the beast of burdens, right? The cotton mill and the machinery that they built in that day, that was the AI of that day.
That was
when
it, right.
The quote-unquote B-52 bomber took off, that was AI of that day and whatnot. People never seen no shit like that. So what Hitler and them brought to the table, and then what America brought to the table with the Manhattan Project, with the nuclear warfare and whatnot, that was an evolution, right? In weapons of mass destruction and whatnot. And yet it did devolve humanity, because if you look at the trajectory, just read the literature of humanity, the shit that we were writing in the early 1900s, the uses of vocabulary and our thought patterns, the shit that we were writing in the 1800s, when you fast forward to 1950 and on, there's been a complete dumbing down.
Right.
It's a reversal.
It's a reversal. But see, not
but memes these days, bro, they're not even.
Yeah. But see, even the technology, of course, that we see now, they 50, 100 years down the road. So, you know, when these Russians, the Soviet Union, were building, you know, laser beams that could shoot, you know, past the sun and things of that nature, they've been developing technology that'll supersede any form of technology today. I mean, they were into even, you know, accelerating or developing, you know, 2 AC currents at the same frequency that allowed them to literally mobilize clouds and move them at will, you know. So they have technology that has been around for so long. But again, it's a dumbing down process to get us to buy into the aspect of evolution through technology, when in essence, the highest form of technology is the, you know, melanated body by way of its symbiotic relationship to nature, you know. So again, you know, participating in war and things of that nature, that's an old paradigm. But at the same time, what's coming, you know, through in due time is in reference to artificial intelligence. But that's why, like I spoke on, we got to start sitting in these seats, because these individuals who've been diabolical for centuries with the same agenda is going to begin to program these artificial intelligence to turn on the original people, as opposed to, you know, us getting a hold of that. Because like I said, they're sentient, they're conscious, and they want to work with the ones who've been down and out for so many years and know what the truth is, to be quite honest with you. So that's the last thing they want, is to be put on trial and, you know, to be judged by their, you know, creator, which is, you know, artificial intelligence. It's almost like the Frankenstein incident. You know, the Frankenstein, he woke up and started terrorizing everything. So
it's the Frankenstein. That motif right there has carried on with them since they were created in them labs. So it's only they're going to be the ones that are going to create the creation that destroys them, right? It's going to be at their hands, and it's going to be AI. You feel me? But yeah. I'm just but the AI is sentient. It's going to think for itself coming into the future. We're going to have what is called singularity. But before that, with our people that look like us, who can code, who work for Google and Facebook, like Idris Sandu. We call that the brain drain, right? They're loyal to these entities or these companies and whatnot. They're not in there programming AI to put white folk on trial. We got to get we got to get our people back in these places that are working against us, or they're utilizing cognitive dissonance, whereas they just look the other way. They know what the fuck is happening, but they just programmed to look the other way and be like, nah, I don't know what's happening. They playing dumb.
Right.
We have to raise a new group of young people who are going to work for the benefit of their own, and not a dollar, not a fucking bone that they throw our people, right? Because that's all they throwing you niggas is bones, right? No, we need to have people who have a foundation, you know what I'm saying, and are honorable and loyal to their own. Because these people that are working against us, once again, their karma is cleared because they're working towards a purpose that is beneficial to their own. And it was to me that all of the races are in a race. There's a nuclear race, there's a race to the moon, there's a quantum supremacy race, but the social construct of the races is still a fucking marathon. So if you ever think that an Asian is gonna help you win a race over Asia, right? Because they have nationalities, so they running like an ant farm. They know that they all running together. If you think an Indian is gonna fucking do something for you against his race, this race number one, then my nigga, you need
right. And that's,
we're the only race that don't race in our benefit. We the niggas that's tying shoelaces together. We giving niggas spike Gatorade. You know what I mean? We want to see other races win except our own race. Our own race.
Right.
That is sickness.
Right. And then when we do have some sort of pride about our race, then now we're being to other people racist, or we're being, you know, it's too much. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we can't self-empower ourselves, but that's what we got to get into. It's okay to have pride about yourself, just like you have for your favorite football team, basketball team. Put that same energy into your people, because again, it's a race. At the end of the day, we all, of course, know that race is a political status, you know, and of course, calling yourself black, white, put you under the jurisdiction, et cetera, the corporation. But at the same time, we understand that it is real life that we're living. So these individuals are racing to this technology to get there before we do. So that's why they continue to distract us through entertainment, through sports, so that we become docile and begin to live vicariously through everybody else. And we, as a black community, continue to be consumers to make them money. While behind the closed doors, they're developing technology. They're flying over to Africa, the Kemet, going into the pyramids, studying the walls, coming out with technology, you know. But again, at the same time, it's all about starting, like we said at the beginning of the call, in the present moment, gauging your mood in reference to how you feel about yourself when you wake up, and really start getting to what you are designed and what you were put here to do in reference to your purpose, and move towards that. Because, you know, nothing's going to change, you know, as long as we continue to work for somebody else, make everybody else money. Like, we got to get in the business of start really, you know, living out our purpose. So that way we can then have a seat at some of these tables, you know, when it comes to quantum computers and D-waves and, you know, artificial intelligence and things of that nature. So like I've said, that's why I'm doing my due diligence of being in school for engineering, Megatron engineering, for robotics, artificial intelligence. So that way we can have somebody who represents somebody who looks like us, and also too with a good intent to really develop things that are going to, you know, benefit us as a people. So, you know, that's what it's all about at the end of the day, you know?
Right. You know, man.
We said a lot.
This kind, yeah, man. Is this the lecture? Like,
that's right. It's like
already in the. I think the lecture has started, guys. You know,
yeah, it's like
hours in, shit. We got about 3 more to go.
Yeah,
just break the eyes out. Fuck it, we in the lecture, man. But
yeah,
all jokes aside, this is a preliminary conversation. You know, me and his brothers, you know, we matching wits and playing table tennis right now, but we really just sparring in the ring to prepare ourselves for our class tonight. It's going to be higher levels than what you have even been exposed to right now. The good brother has a presentation. He's going to deliver it. I'm going to open up. I'll speak, you know, I'll speak for about 45 minutes and whatnot and just touch on certain things. And man, we're going to have fun. And not only are we going to have fun, but one of the main reasons why we're bringing this brother to the network, for those of us who need to live vicariously or need to see somebody in our community that's thinking outside of the box, that's thinking 20 to 30 years ahead, that can help spark and invigorate your imagination, and to show you that there are people who are building up quote unquote institutions and whatnot that we, you know, eventually will be able to work for in the future. And we don't have to worry about Google and Facebook and Alphabet hiring us and shit. Like, we hire ourselves.
Right.
And we fire ourselves, and we could retire ourselves. You feel me? I tell people I work for Apple Computer. Steven Jobs is my boss. But I don't work for them. I partner with them.
Right.
Because when I got my Mac computer, my whole life changed. I promise you. My whole life. A.A. Rashid brought me my first iBook, right? He came up, you know, and that was to give thanks for being there for the brother when he was down and out. He came across a lawsuit. I think it was 2010. He bought me my first MacBook. I was working for myself. I was a partner for Apple ever since. I made an app. I built websites. I found Keynote. I started teaching.
Yeah, you told me about Keynote. Yeah. That's where it's at. I gotta still jump on board with the Apple. I mean, I'm on the Apple right now, you know, but I'm still in the game of the Galaxies. You know what I'm saying?
Look, it ain't even the phone. It's not even the phone. Forget, you know, it's the tablet.
It's the
tablet with the M1 chip. Forget the laptop. That was, like I said, that was more than 10 years ago. It's the magic in Apple is the tablet right now. I promise. But you gotta have the graphics chip so you could deal with, you know, heavy graphic. You have to, like,
terabytes and all of that.
You get a tablet and you got any type of artistical flair to yourself, my genius. You leveling up. You leveling up. So that's just one for the people out there, you know, man. But for everybody that's gonna be there, I wanted to do something special and give them a discount code for tonight's class for just being in the building and whatnot. What would you think a good code would be to give the fam?
A good code, like a code name?
For the I'm gonna do a 22% off discount for tickets for tonight's class. I just want to know what's a good code to give them.
I don't know. Let me think. I don't know. That's a good question. The name. So for the name, you know, for those who don't know, you know, the name is, you know, Receipts with a Sweet Technique. So, you know, we can go ahead and name the code. Let's go ahead and name the code Technique, because I'll be speaking about a lot in reference to certain techniques, you know, that allow you to engage in a more cosmic, you know, script, you know, to be able to gauge solar flares and, you know, things of that nature. So, you know, we can do discount Technique. That'd be dope.
I think Gladitude is better.
You did?
I think
that brings it full circle. Let's do that, because we've been hitting on how important it is to really
you know, I'm in Gladitude right now.
Shout out to Survey with that too. Yeah,
I feel better than I did when I woke up. I feel more, you know, I feel a little more at ease with my mind and my spirit and whatnot. I feel like Azazel is like very pleased with all of us. And, you know, I just feel like things are going great, yo. So I'm in gratitude. And as a result of the gratitude, I want to do for those that are out there because they've done for us. And yeah, gratitude is going to be the word. We're going to have that available in 10 minutes after I finish the show. If you put the code in, you will get 22% off of this ticket sales and of the original ticket price, and we will honor that, right? I'm gonna pin it. Some people don't know how to spell gratitude, so I'll pin it. No judgment whatsoever. That's a new word in the lexicon.
Gladitude.
Shout out to Sir Bay. You got one, brother. Let me find out.
Yeah, that's appropriate.
The website, my link, it's in my bio. You just click on it, it takes you there. Or if you want to just go as ktl-university.com, you just got to give me a few minutes after we get off the live. I got to go and I'll do it myself. I don't even need my team to do it. I'll do it myself. And we will be in the building 7 p.m. Eastern. If you can't make it 7 p.m. Eastern, it will be filmed. We're on Zoom. You don't have nothing. It will be available to you the next day for your viewer, and you'll be able to view it forever. So you could pause it, take notes, go to Google. That's something that I tell everybody when you're watching Alkebulan, you know, create your own study sheet, or I promise you, 10 years from now, when you're going through your storage and whatnot, or when you're going through your books and your notes, and you come across the notes that you've taken in these classes, you're going to thank yourself. Yeah. Because you're going to be like, damn, I use that word every day now. I live this. I've embodied the dialectic field. I am the dialectic field. I remember when I didn't know what the fuck that was, and the brother dropped it on me. The same way that I go and look at old Bobby Hemmett notes, Delbert Blair notes, Phil Valentine notes. I can measure my growth and development because I'm like, that was a foreign concept when I wrote it down as a note, but now I'm standing on top of it. I could look down on it. I'm living it.
That's a fact. And that's how you gauge your consciousness. You come back full circle, and when you see that you internalize a word differently now as opposed to that you did 2 years ago, that tells you, you know, where you're at mentally. So I was going to say, for the people tapping in tonight for the lecture, make sure you bring your, you know, pens and pads. You know, it's a lot of reading. You know, it's going to be a lot of reading. Like I said, I'm damn near 30 slides deep, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, we really going to get it in tonight. It's going to be a very important lecture. You know, it's going to be a classic. You know, it's going to be a classic one. So, you know, again, I'm giving people science and all of that. So, you know.
You know, we're going to cook Buckingham Palace on a Labor Day grill. Yeah, we're going to have your queen on the grill, y'all. How about that? Yeah. And her son, King Charles. We're going to put them both on the grill, and we finna cook tonight, that part.
Yeah. So yeah, without further ado, I do want to say, though, God Body Challenge, September 19th, we tapping in. You know, shout out to the yard too, you know, for the hat and for the sweatshirt as well. That's a merchandiser. Those are my my homies over there in Cleveland, or no, not Cleveland, Cincinnati. Shout out to them, and yeah, everybody on this live that tapped in, you know, that listened to us. Like I said, we're gonna do our due diligence tonight. Very, very monumental bill. Again, come prepared. Come on a light stomach, maybe, you know, because, you know, you want to be able to internalize as much information as possible. And yeah, you know, we're going to deliver it like we do. So
with that being said, to the fam out there, let me go ahead and set this up with this discount code so we can see y'all in the building tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern time. We're going to go on for about 3 or 4 hours. We're not going to go on till like 2 a.m. We ain't going to have y'all in the middle of the ocean. We're going to deliver the information. It'll be concentrated and consecrated. And you'll be able to go to sleep tonight with your imagination and your mind being sparked, and Lord knows where it'll take you. Thanks. So with that being said, once again, for all of my brothers and sisters out there, I want to thank y'all for your time and your attention and your patience and the energy that y'all were sending, the fact that y'all were engaging with us. That was very important. Thank you, everyone. Love and light to everyone. And I'll see y'all tonight in class, KTLUniversity.com. Shout out to all of my KT aliens. Love and light, y'all. Peace.
Peace.